I remember my first time seeing computers being remotely controlled more than 10 years ago, when I walked into a room and saw a laptop on a desk, with no one next to it. Yet the cursor was moving by itself. Turns out what I saw was my dad's coworker, troubleshooting it through TeamViewer. I was really fascinated with how it worked. At the time, it seemed like something impossible, and I was surprised something like that even existed. Remote access tech has advanced a lot since then. TeamViewer, once the biggest in the sphere, has been pushed aside by modern alternatives. All of them usually have their own applications and targeted user base. For example, AnyDesk is more of a lightweight solution comparing to TeamViewer, and is typically used for simple daily tasks and troubleshooting, while RustDesk is an open source alternative that doesn't have any subscription fees and gives you full control over your data. Tapo is a corporate solution made to manage hundreds of computers at the same time. However, our star today is Parsec. For some reason, I have barely seen anybody using or recommending it for remote access, even though I find it much higher quality and more versatile. To be fair, it is definitely advertised as a solution for gaming more than anything else. I have discovered Parsec during a Steam sale, when my friend and I wanted to buy some LEGO titles and play them together. So, when we booted up that old Hobbit game, we realized that there is no online co-op, and it is only local. We, of course, tried Steam Remote Play first, but it is notoriously unreliable. The video quality dips constantly, and most of the time it fails to detect the guest controller entirely. So, after some time of pointless troubleshooting, I was pointed toward Parsec, that apparently works similar to Remote Play Together, but like 10 times better. So, we gave it a try, and that was the moment I realized how much more advanced the technology has become. Somehow, the software keeps stable FPS, bitrate, resolution, while only slightly making the picture a bit bleaker, which I'm sure can be fixed by tweaking the settings. Furthermore, if the picture grade is the part that matters most, you can always switch from performance to quality preset. And, as it turns out, you can link up to 20 people to the same device, which is more than I think can ever be needed, but who knows, maybe I just don't know what to use it for. It can use both H.264 and H.265, encoding and decoding through an encrypted peer-to-peer connection with DTLS 1.2. If you really don't know what it means, it's okay, I also don't. But it seems to be a quality standard. Plus, if the client PC has a good GPU, you can put it to work to further smoothen out your experience. Nevertheless, if you ever want to play a co-op game, but you don't want to spend extra money, you can always chip in for a single copy, and then split it for 2 people, which seems like a good idea if you don't want to spend $70 every time you want to play with someone. Also, since it supports both controllers and keyboards, you can use it for multiplayer games, such as Overcooked or Pummel Party, or any other as long as it supports local multiplayer. To be clear, always support developers when you can, but if you're on a tight budget or just want to trial a game before buying, this is an incredible workaround. Consequently, after this amazing discovery, I started to think of other ways I could use it. Imagine, a tool that gives you remote access that feels like it's local. So, I started testing some things out. The first detail I realized was obviously the fact that you don't have to use it only for gaming together with someone. You can always just connect to your computer through another PC, laptop, tablet, hell, even a smartphone if you really need to. And to be honest, it is actually usable. You can even hook up a controller or keyboard and mouse to play games or do some work. Although I recommend a tablet over a smartphone, unless you want an XQC style hunchback and ruined eyesight. However, not to drift off the main topic. This works great for many cases, you just have to find out what you can use it for. Sometimes after a long, tiring day of sitting at my desk and playing video games, I just want to take my mind off things, lay in bed, on the couch, and just play more games, you know. Thanks to the fact that not much of the processing power of your secondary device is being used, you can stay on the line without having to charge your laptop for a long time, and it doesn't even heat up that much thanks to the same reason. To compare, even your browser uses more resources than this. I also often use it to separate my work environment from the one of entertainment. You see, in my experience, when I try to get some work done at my desk, where I also watch videos, movies and play video games, I often tend to get distracted. My brain doesn't make a distinction between those two spaces, so it usually is hard to stay focused. So I take my laptop and go to a different room and work on the same machine, but in a different environment that I associate with productivity, which means it's harder to get distracted. And the great feature is that you don't even need to stay within your apartment and network. The connection stays there even on a different Wi-Fi, which means you get access to your PC from anywhere in the world. And the internet doesn't even need to be very good. The minimum requirement is 10 megabits per second. As long as it's stable, you will be fine. Plus, even your phone's hotspot will work well too. I just recommend you go to your hotspot settings and switch this one to on, because it will ensure the speed is not limited. Additionally, switching from 2.4 to 5 GHz will further improve your experience. But wait, how do I access my computer from anywhere? If I go away for a long period of time, do I have to keep my PC on all the time? Great question. You can, but I recommend you don't, since when a computer stays on for a long time, it may cause many instability issues and overheat. Thus, here's a solution I discovered on this guy's channel, shout out to him. It is a foolproof method and it is much easier than the Wake on LAN alternative. All you need is to buy any smart plug that lets you turn it off and on through your phone. For example, I got this one off Amazon for €9. To set it up, typically you just connect it to Wi-Fi, give it a name, and you're good to go. Then head to BIOS by restarting your PC and continuously pressing F2 or delete. Then press the advanced menu, advanced again, and find APM or something similar to power management. It all depends on the brand of your motherboard, so if you can't find this specific option, you should look up what they look like in your case. Then set restore on AC power loss option to power on. Press save and exit. Now, when you toggle the smart plug off and on via its app, your PC notices that power was restored and boots itself up automatically. Since Parsec turns on during startup, you can log in even through a lock screen. And just like that, you have full access. It is fully usable. Plus, if you are an artist, there is even a version of the program that is made specifically for you, because it lets you connect your graphic tablet and use it through your secondary computer on your host PC. Moving on, same as the previous way of using this program I have stumbled upon. It is both practical for work and for gaming. I have found it when my monitor, that was only like 4 years old, suddenly decided to off itself forever. I still am not sure what happened to it. I was way too used to having 2 monitors, so while I was trying to pick out the best replacement, I remembered how back in the day I tried various programs and tools to make my laptop or phone a second monitor, but always ended up leaving that idea since most of the solutions were either paid or had terrible delay. Therefore, I tried linking my laptop to my PC through Parsec, and then switching from the main to the secondary display, which did work. The only issue was that having a dead monitor on your desk, while also having to fit a laptop at the same spot, wasn't exactly something you'd call practical. That's where this tool comes in. Virtual Display Driver tricks your PC into thinking it has extra monitors attached when it actually doesn't. If you have a couple of old laptops lying around, you can use Parsec to turn them into a fully functional third and fourth screens without spending extra money. And it really works great. The only downside is for some reason I couldn't see my cursor on the laptop. So what you need to do is go to mouse settings, click additional mouse options, pointer options, and check display pointer trails, and set it to minimum. That will add an additional trail to your pointer, thus making it visible on your client PC. Before ending this video, let's talk about downsides I have found so far. Even though the client support is pretty good, you can connect through Linux, macOS, Android, and even Chrome browser. Unfortunately, they have ended support for Raspberry Pi in 2022, and the host link was always limited to only Windows and macOS. Parsec is also unavailable in App Store, and even their web client doesn't work at all, since it requires Chromium-based browser to run. You can of course check out all the requirements on their website to make sure it works with your device. In addition, Clipboard Sync only works if you are connected through the same account, and it applies only to text. Images or files are not supported, so if file transfer is important to you, you might want to consider a different app. Ultimately, I believe that Parsec has much more potential, since I have only talked about the use cases I personally like, but I'm sure many of you will find even more ways to use it. I hope this video was informative, useful, or at least entertaining to watch, and if so, please support it by leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. If you have any things or ideas you want me to cover next time, please let me know in the comments. Have a good day and see you next time.